Hello once again. In this video, we're going to be going over solving quadratic equations, but now we're going to be using a different formula. We're going to use the quadratic formula. So the quadratic formula, what is it? With factoring, completing the square, these other methods, you kind of have to have a real number sense. You have to be kind of good just like playing with numbers in your head. The quadratic formula is like purely memorization based. Do you memorize the formula or do you not memorize the formula? So if you guys haven't yet, how you memorize the formula? You listen to the song. If you're at my class, we listen to the song today. I'm still kind of buzzing off of it. Still got it in my head. Hopefully you do too as well. But if you don't remember the formula, just keep playing that song, keep playing the song. You're gonna be singing it just like me for the rest of your life. So how do we do this? We just write down the formula. So if you remember the formula, it's x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So we can start off with this equation by just identifying a, b, and c. Remember, a, b, and c in this case are just the numbers. So a is 3, b, c. So off to the side, I'm just going to kind of label them. If you don't want to, you don't have to do this. I'm just going to say a, b, c. A is 3, b is negative 4, c is negative 2. So now I can just plug in these three numbers and put letters in here. So for our equation, negative b, so this is negative. And then what I like to do, you don't have to do this like I said if you want. You can just kind of eyeball things and figure out where things disappear, do that. I just like to put parentheses instead of all the letters. It just makes it easier, cleaner for me to see. So we have negative, and then instead of b, we got negative 4, plus or minus the square root of b squared. So negative 4 squared minus 4 times a, we said is 3, and then times c is negative 2. And then we said all of this is going to be over 2 times a, so 2 times 3. Okay, so now we just kind of rely on our calculator. So we get our calculator, and you can do this in whatever way you want. The way I like to do it is I just take, it's broken. I take this right here. Whatever is inside the square root. I don't include the square root, I just take whatever is inside the square root and I put that into my calculator. So I'm putting negative 4 squared minus 4 times 3 times negative 2. I'm putting just this into my calculator. And let's see what I get. I get 40. So I get that this equals, I'm going to do it down here. I'll just write it on top. So I got that this equals 40 when I plugged it in my calculator. So now I'm just going to clean up this equation just a little. So we start off, we have negative 4. That just becomes positive 4. And then we still have plus or minus. By the way, plus or minus, if it's freaking out, this just means we're not using this till the end, and it means we're getting two answers. One, which is this plus this over this. The other one is just this minus this over this. Because remember, quadratics, we get two solutions. So we have 4 plus or minus the square root. And then we said that all this was just 40 over 2 times 3, which is just 6. Okay, so now from here, we can go on a little. And we're trying to simplify now the square root of 4. So in an ideal world, this would be a perfect square, like it'd be like square root of 25. And we could just write negative 4 plus or minus 5, way easier to solve. Or in another world, we could get like a prime number in here, and then we would know that there's no simplifying the square root of a prime number. So we would just like put it in our calculator and get it in decimal form. But sometimes we get something like this, square root of 40, which isn't a perfect square, but it can be simplified a little more, so we don't want to write it as a decimal. So this is what we do. I'll just go do this off to the side. Hopefully you guys can do this in your head at this point. But the square root of 40. 40 is not a perfect square, but can we write it as a perfect square times another number? And you should be thinking, yes, you can. We can rewrite this as the square root of 4 times the square root of 10. Since 4 times 10 is just 40. So the square root of 4, you guys should remember, just equals 2. So technically, we can rewrite this as 2 root 10. So now we have 4 plus or minus 2 root 10 over 6. And so now for our final answer, we're just splitting this, just like we've done for the other problems. We're splitting this off in two different directions. One world where this is a plus, one world where this is a minus. So for our first option, we're going to do 4 plus 2 root 10 over 6. And then in the other world down here, we're doing 4 minus 2 root 10 over 6. So that's all this plus or minus means. It means once you get to the end, you're going to have to write it two different ways. One where it's a plus, one where it's a minus. And that's it. These two are our final